Nothing about the father, nothing about the mother. All we know is that the mother became miserable and said, this guy has given me pain. I will give him pain. He has given me pain. So I also name him Pain. And that is what we know about this young man. So you could be that young man coming from a background that has no recognition, coming from a background that there is no relevance, coming from a background that it takes only God to bring a transformation. But I would like to say to you, life is not a race. You see, what brings about a transformation in people's life? A talent to be a who would have known Usain Bolt? Which school did he attend? What was his qualification? Who would have known him from that? Is it Bryce? Where does he come from? Jamaica. That small town where he comes. Who would have known him? It's just a gift God embedded in him, running. You see, that guy from Somalia who ran for this country, what's his name? Mo Farah. Who would have known him from what country did I just mention? Somalia. God embedded something in him. That young guy who is the best player in the world, what's his name? Messi. But there are also others who have been known by their intelligence. There are also others who have been known by the invention, like the Facebook guy. Okay? And many others are doing a whole lot. There are others who are known by the gift of God embedded in them. Many prophets, if it's not their ability to foresee and to prophesy, nobody would have known them. So we know a man, they say, oh, he's a great prophet. He's very good. It's just the grace on him. If you take the grace out, he's nothing. Take Mo Farah or whoever he is, that ability to run long distance from him, he's nobody. Take that speed this boat guy has, nobody, nothing else is in him. So this man looked into himself and saw that there is something, there is a purpose God brought him here. But there is something that is working against him. What can I do to remedy the situation? So all the guy did is that he said, if you take a fish out of water, that's the end of the fish. You see the fish doing two things, moving the tail and then like that, trying to move. But its ability to move is embedded in aquatic habitat, in a sea or in a water. The second thing you see it doing is opening the mouth like that. What is it trying to do? Trying to breathe. And he can't breathe. But it doesn't mean that it can't breathe. It doesn't mean that there is no water, there's no air around. There is air around. But its ability to breathe is in an aquatic habitat, in a water. Take the tree out of the ground and it will start dying. Why? Because its ability to live is embedded in the soil. So when this young man realized how disadvantaged he was, the first thing he did is to realize that he has to humble himself and go before his maker, the one who made him. When something cannot be fixed by any other engineer, they normally recommend that you take it to the manufacturer. The manufacturer is always the best. The manufacturer. There are sometimes you are trying, there is a problem, you can't, but you go to the manufacturer, it takes few seconds. We traveled some time ago back home, and we had a problem with the car. And there is this good mechanic, wherever I will be and have a problem, I just give a phone call, he will be just there to sort it out. But because he's able to do almost everything that I call him for. But one time, when I needed him most, I called, he came, he couldn't do it. He said, this one there is full of electronics, and it's full of whatsoever, and can't be required. So I realized it was even actually getting too complicated. So I spoke to one of my sons in the state, and I said, this is what the car is doing. What is your recommendation? He says, there is a manufacturer, they have a base in Accra here. Take it to them or call them. You can't believe that they did it within few minutes. Meanwhile, this guy and others that I call them around are very good. And there is no problem they have never solved in not just this car, but many other cars have they been able to solve. But this time, they couldn't. But it took the manufacturer just like that. Meaning that he knows the car or the product. He knows what is where and what is the problem. The woman we spoke to about this, you can't believe. He just said, oh, it's this thing. And it's true, he came, and then that is that. So life, this young man realized that if his life is like what it is now, then the best remedy is to look for the manufacturer. Then he realized that you cannot just approach the manufacturer in an angry mood or in an angry situation. You have to have a humble spirit. So he came humbling himself and seeking for his direction. So when he came, the kind of humility or spirit he had made the manufacturer to respond to him appropriately and make him more honorable than his brothers. He realized the state in which he had found himself in. And he also realized that he needed God's divine intervention in a situation like that. He came to the recognition that it is only God who can turn a hopeless situation around by blessing him, protecting him, and providing for him. So when Jabez, why wouldn't Jabez go about relying on an uncle, an auntie, a friend? Why wouldn't him go to someone somewhere? Like we saw the woman who was bleeding for 12 years. The Bible says that she had gone to places, doctors, gynecology, all of these people, and there was nobody that could help. The Bible says that instead of her situation to even improve, it rather grew worse. Until the last minute that she said, okay, she heard about Jesus and said, let me approach Jesus. But we hear Jabez realize that the pain of my life, the sorrow of my life can only be solved by the manufacturer. So we hear from Dr. Luke in the book of the Acts of the Apostles, where he tells us that it is in him Jabez lived. It is in him Jabez moved, and it is in him Jabez has his being. And for that matter, he said, oh God, I want you to bless me. I want you to bless me. Why would Jabez approach God in a very humble way, very having a humble spirit, asking God, oh God, I want you to bless me. All we know normally about life, when we say bless me, oh, somebody has been blessed, normally we are talking about what? He has money, he has cars, he has houses. That's all we want to know. All we get to know more. Say ready shirame. Unso be say ready shirame. You we shirame. Jesus me here shiro, me here shiro, me here shira. Na ni va na pe sika car anadan. Say unso be so e ka say nyame shira na dada. Na osan ka say ready shirame a. No open more. Or there is a deficiency somewhere. But I would like to say to each and every one of you, even though Jabez said, I want you to bless me. I want you to bless me. The Bible says that the blessings of the Lord makes one rich, which means that there is difference between blessing and riches. Am I communicating here? I said the blessing of the Lord makes one rich. And the blessing, ana emma sikaba. And he said, nyame at the blessing to you can be rich without hard work. Do you know that? And then I'm a takan say we say, but be no monte say, and I say be no ha. Why didn't I kind of for now? Why didn't I present it? I'm sure that you I'll say it raw and I'll say it like this. So what did we say? And you'll be a nice man to build a house. Do I have to now build a house? Don't worry about building a house, because not everybody is meant to build a house. In the volumes of the book, it's no piano and several the bar from her. As I see so. No be and this of all, remember the year me see ya by 5 years mean to me ye. And I'm a sassy ya, I can way. Look. Not building a house doesn't necessarily mean that God doesn't want you to build it. Not everybody builds it. Some people are meant to buy the house, not build the house. So meaning that the struggle of culture blocks, you have to foundation. Now you go concrete. No more mugu so no you found. Oh, much cement in blocks and so for themselves. That struggle is out. And maybe you will start it. You start the house. The cement is 30 Ghana. Some people started their house. Maybe it was 30 Ghana. And they haven't finished it. But even now, yesterday or 3 days ago, cement is 50 Ghana. It's serious. Cement is 50 Ghana. Now, so that struggle of, hey, you have to cement to me, made them crown. Hey, now where do you cement to do the way? You hear 300 cement, you hear this one, you hear that one. That stress of how you are going to do it, some people, God has not given you that stress to take, because to Him, He will open a door for you where it will blow your mind. How you get the money. Don't worry about it. There are some times in life you don't know the way God does His things. It's a fact. And let me also draw your attention here that sometimes the channel in which we are expecting a form of a blessing, that channel is not designed for you to have such a blessing.